My wife got pregnant by my best friend. The same man who introduced us at his birthday party 6 years ago. When I found out, I didn't yell. I didn't break anything. I just erased every single one of them from my life so completely that it's like I never existed. And that silence? That's what destroyed them. I'm a structural engineer. I design buildings that don't fall down. Load-bearing walls, stress points, failure thresholds. I know exactly how much pressure something can take before it collapses. Turns out that knowledge applies to more than concrete. It was a Thursday in March. I remember because it had been raining all week in Charlotte, and Thursday was the first day the sun came out. I left the office early, picked up Thai food on the way home, because Claire loved their green curry. Walked through the front door, bags in hand, already calling out to ask if she wanted extra rice. She was sitting on the couch with Marcus, not next to each other. Opposite ends. But the distance between them was the wrong kind of distance, the kind people create when they've been too close and are trying to look normal. I've seen that geometry before. You don't forget it once you recognize it. Hey man, Marcus stood up too fast. Just stopped by to drop off those concert tickets. Remember? I told you about them. He hadn't told me about any concert tickets. Claire wouldn't look at me. Her hands were in her lap, fingers knotted together, and she was staring at a spot on the carpet like it owed her money. I set the food down, looked at them both. The room was doing that thing where everything gets very sharp and very quiet at the same time. Like your brain is taking a photograph it knows it'll need later. What's going on? Marcus started talking. Something about a surprise birthday thing. How they'd been planning it. His words were moving too fast and none of them fit together. Claire cut him off. Just stop. She looked up at me. Her eyes were red, not fresh crying. Old crying, hours old crying, we need to talk. Marcus grabbed his jacket. I should go. Let you guys. Sit down. He sat. Claire pressed her palms flat on her thighs. She was shaking. I'm pregnant. The math didn't work. We'd stopped trying 8 months ago after the second miscarriage. The doctor said take a break. Focus on yourselves. We did, or I thought we did. I looked at her, looked at Marcus. He was staring at the floor. How long? I asked. She closed her eyes. 7 months. Since August. August, his birthday weekend, the lake house trip. I'd left early Sunday morning for a work emergency. A parking structure showing stress fractures downtown. I spent 14 hours on site. Came home exhausted. She'd said they all left around noon. I turned to Marcus. My best friend since freshman year at NC State. Best man at my wedding. The guy who called me every Sunday to talk about nothing. The guy I'd lent $40,000 to when his restaurant was going under. He finally looked up. I'm sorry, man. It just happened. We didn't plan. I held up my hand. He stopped. Does anyone else know? Claire's voice cracked. Your mom. I told her last week. I needed someone to talk to. You told my mother before you told me. She started crying. She said we should tell you, together as a family. She said we could work through it. My mother said that. She wants what's best for everyone. I stood there for maybe 10 seconds. It felt like a year. I could feel my brain sorting through information the way I sort through structural reports. Identifying the failed theories. Mapping the collapse. Then I walked to the bedroom. Claire followed me. What are you doing? Where are you going? Please just talk to me. We can figure this out. Your mom said. I pulled my overnight bag from the closet, packed methodically. Clothes for a week. Lapped. Charger. The folder from the filing cabinet with our financial documents. Passport, toothbrush. She grabbed my arm. Please. Say something. Scream at me, hit the wall. Do something. I looked at her hand on my arm, then at her face. She wanted a reaction. Something she could work with. Anger she could deflect. Pain she could comfort. Anything that meant I was still engaged, still participating in whatever new arrangement they'd all apparently agreed to. I pulled my arm free, picked up the bag. Marcus was still on the couch, looking like he wanted the floor to open up. I walked past him without a word. You can't just leave, Claire said from the doorway. We have to talk about this. Your mother's coming over tomorrow. I got in my truck, started the engine. My phone rang before I reached the end of the street. Claire. Declined. Marcus. Declined. Mom. Declined. Claire again. Declined. I pulled into a Walgreens parking lot, 6 miles from the house. The phone was vibrating nonstop. 17 missed calls in 12 minutes, texts. Flooding in. Please come home. We can work through this. Don't do anything you'll regret. Your mother loves you. We's all love you. Family is family, sweetheart. Let's talk. That last one was from my mother. Family is family. She'd known for a week. 7 days of knowing my wife was carrying my best friend's child, and her solution was a family meeting. A negotiation. Terms of surrender for me to sign while they all watched. I opened my phone settings. Started with Claire. Block. Confirm. Marcus block. Mom block. Dad block. Then my sister because she'd try to mediate block. My aunt because she'd call crying block. Marcus' wife wait. They'd divorced 2 years ago. That explains some things. I went through every contact who might take their side, who might try to reason with me, who might accidentally give away where I was. 23 people blocked in 4 minutes. The phone went silent. The relief was physical. Called my carrier. I need a new number. Tonight. Is there a problem with your current service, sir? No. I just need a different number. I can process that. New number will be active within. As soon as possible. 2 hours, sir, fine. I drove to a Holiday Inn Express near the airport. Paid with my credit card, I'd switch to cash later, once I had a plan. Room on the 3rd floor, generic everything. I sat on the bed and started making lists. Day 2 of my project manager, family emergency. I need to use my PTO, all of it. Everything okay? No, but it will be. He didn't push. Engineers don't bank next. I walked into the Wells Fargo branch on South Tryon Street, asked to speak with a personal banker. Explained I needed to open an individual account, transfer exactly half of our joint savings, and redirect my direct deposit. Is your spouse aware of these changes? We're separating, I see. I'm sorry to hear that. I wasn't looking for sympathy, just signatures. 45 minutes later, my half, $86,000, sat in an account with only my name on it. My next paycheck would go there too. Clean split, nothing they could challenge. Insurance next, remove Claire from health, auto, everything. The agent asked if I was sure. I'm sure, then the house. I pulled up the deed on my phone. I'd bought it 3 years before the wedding with money I'd saved since college, my name only. I'd planned to add hers after we had kids. One of those things you mean to do and never get around to. My procrastination saved me a 6-figure headache. Called a divorce attorney that afternoon. Not the cheapest, the most thorough. Her name was Diane Park. Corner office downtown. She wore reading glasses on a chain and took notes with a fountain pen. What do you want? Divorce, no contact, no mediation. Everything through you. House is mine, premarital asset. No alimony, she works, earns more than me, actually. I want it fast and clean. What about the pregnancy? Not my child, not my problem. Your friend is the father, he's not my friend anymore. He's a name on a birth certificate that doesn't involve me. She studied me over her glasses. You're remarkably composed. I designed structures that withstand Category 5 hurricanes. I can handle paperwork, she almost smiled. I'll have papers drafted by Monday. Process server will deliver Tuesday. Good. Most people want to talk about their feelings during this part. I don't have feelings about this. I have a plan. She nodded, then we'll get along fine. That weekend I erased myself digitally. Facebook, deleted, not deactivated. Instagram, gone. LinkedIn, removed. My personal email, the one everyone had, I changed the password to a random string and deleted all recovery options. Locked myself out permanently. Created a new email under a different format. Monday I researched cities. Criteria, at least 1,000 miles away. Strong engineering sector, no one I knew. Portland, Oregon. 3 firms were hiring structural engineers. I applied to all 3 before lunch. Tuesday Diane called. Papers served. Your wife was hysterical. Your mother showed up at my office an hour later demanding to speak with you. What did you tell her? That all communication goes through me. She didn't take it well. She doesn't have to take it well. She just has to take it. Your friend came by too. Separately. He left a letter. Shred it, without reading it? Without reading it, pause. All right. Noted. I got a call from Portland that Thursday. Interview at a civil engineering firm. Flew out Friday, interviewed Monday. They offered me the position, Tuesday state. 1st of next month. I put in my notice in Charlotte. My project manager looked at me like I'd announced I was moving to Mars. Portland? That's across the country, that's the idea. I found an apartment online. 1 bedroom in the Pearl District. Signed the lease remotely. Packed my truck with what mattered, which turned out to be surprisingly little. A man's whole life fits in the bed of an F-150 if he's honest about what actually matters. Left Charlotte on a Saturday at 5 a.m., drove the whole thing in 3 days. Stopped in Memphis, then Boise. Ate at diners where nobody knew my name. Slept in motels where nobody asked questions. Listened to podcasts about marine biology, completely unrelated to anything in my life. I wanted my brain to think about octopuses and whale migration instead of what I'd left behind. Portland was green and gray and nothing like North Carolina. Perfect, first month. New office, new projects. A bridge retrofit, 2 commercial buildings, a historic renovation downtown. I buried myself in work. Found a boxing gym 3 blocks from my apartment. Found a therapist through my insurance. You seem very controlled, she said during our first session. I process things systematically. Even betrayal? Especially betrayal. Emotions without structure become chaos. I prefer containment. She made notes. We kept meeting. Diane called every Tuesday. Clockwork. Week 3. Claire's attorney wants to negotiate. She's claiming emotional distress. She's distressed because there are consequences. No negotiation. Week 5. Your mother sent a 12-page letter to my office. Shred it. Week 6. Marcus left 14 voicemails at my old office in Charlotte. They forwarded them to me. Want to hear them? No, delete them. Week 8. Your father called my personal line. He was crying. How did he get your number? Your mother found it somehow. She's resourceful. Change your number if you have to. Bill me for it. Diane was quiet for a moment. Most clients soften by now, most clients. No, she agreed. You're not. Thanksgiving came. My therapist asked what I was doing. Turkey trot 10K in the morning. Then I'm cooking for myself. Cornish hen, mashed potatoes, Apple pie from the bakery on 23rd. Your family will wonder where you are. They can wonder. Does that feel satisfying? It doesn't feel anything. That's the point. She wrote something down. I think that's actually progress. That night I ate alone at my kitchen counter, watching the rain. Portland rain is different from Charlotte rain. Softer, steadier. Like the city's just used to it. I was starting to get used to things too. December. A coworker, Jensen, invited me to his family's Christmas dinner. Orphan Christmas he called it. For those of us without local family. His wife made a ham. Their kids ran around with paper crowns from crackers. I brought a bottle of wine and didn't talk about my past. Nobody asked. I played cards with Jensen's father-in-law and lost $30. Drove home feeling something I hadn't felt in months. Not happiness exactly. More like the absence of dread. For the first time in my adult life, I didn't have to perform. Didn't have to be the reliable one, the forgiving one, the one who held everything together so everyone else could fall apart. January. A mutual college friend, Dean, found me. Not in person, through my work email, which was public on the firm's website. Rookie mistake on my part. Dude, what the hell happened to you? Everyone's been looking for you for months. Your mom is calling people from college asking if anyone's heard from you. Marcus is a wreck. Claire had the baby, a boy. She's living with your parents now. I stared at the email for a long time. Claire living with my parents. In the guest room probably. My old room down the hall. My mother fussing over the baby. My father pretending this was all normal. I didn't respond. But I didn't block Dean either. He was removed enough to be useful. Close enough to the situation to keep me informed without requiring anything from me. His emails came every few weeks after that. February, Marcus got fired. Something about his behavior. Showing up to work drunk. He's couch surfing now. Your parents won't let him stay at their house because of Claire. March, your dad had a health scare. Not his heart. His blood pressure spiked and he passed out at church. Your mom is blaming herself for not telling you sooner about the affair. She says if she'd told you first, instead of taking Claire's side, none of this would have happened. She's probably right, April. Claire's telling people you abandoned her, and the baby. Some people believe her. Most don't once they hear the full story. Your sister's been correcting the record. She feels guilty about not warning you. She says she only found out the same day you did. I believe her, for what it's worth. I read these updates the way I read inspection reports on buildings I wasn't involved with. Factual. Distant. Someone else's project. Spring in Portland is beautiful. The cherry blossoms along the waterfront. The food carts. The hiking 30 minutes from downtown. I started running longer distances. Half marathon in May, finished in 1:47. Not bad for a guy whose previous exercise was carrying stress, like it was a competitive sport. Met someone in June. Nadia. She was a marine biologist. Irony noted. Doing research at Oregon Health and Science University. We met at a lecture about seismic retrofitting of coastal structures. She'd come because her lab was in a building that needed it. We got coffee after. She was direct, thoughtful, didn't fill silence with noise. Third date, she asked why I'd moved to Portland from the other side of the country. I told her everything. The affair, the pregnancy, the family meeting I wasn't invited to, my mother siding with them, the exit. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she stirred her coffee. Do you ever think about going back? No, not even for closure? Closure is something people give themselves. It's not something you get from the people who hurt you. She nodded slowly. That's the most engineer answer I've ever heard. I laughed. First real laugh in months. We kept seeing each other. She met my coworkers. They liked her. Jensen's wife started inviting us to dinner as a couple. I was building something without realizing it. A foundation. Load-bearing walls. This kind of structure that holds. July. 1 year out. I sat on my balcony with coffee watching the sunrise over Mount Hood and thought about the anniversary. 1 year ago, I walked into my house with Thai food, and walked out with a duffel bag. Now I had a career I was proud of, a woman I was falling in love with, friends who knew the man I was becoming, instead of the man I'd been. The trade was worth it. Dean's July email was longer than usual. Your mom hired a private investigator. I'm not kidding. She's that desperate. She told Church she just needs to know you're alive. Your dad's not doing well. Another blood pressure episode. He's on medication now. Marcus is apparently living in some apartment in Raleigh, working at a Home Depot. The baby's crawling. Claire posts pictures online. She never mentions you. It's like you never existed to her either. That lastest line stuck with me. Not because it hurt, because it confirmed something. I'd erased myself from their lives, and they'd let the erasure stand. Claire didn't fight the divorce. Didn't contest the house. Didn't demand anything except the nothing I gave her. She just let me go and rewrote the story without me in it. Diane called the next day. She'd filed a motion to dismiss some last procedural detail. Divorce had been final for months, but paperwork has a long tail. Also, she said, your mother found my office address again. Second letter this year. This one included photographs. The baby, your parents, your sister, a family portrait, with a space where you would have been, a space where I would have been, shred it, the photographs, Bastu? Everything. Long pause. You know, in 22 years of family law, I've never had a client like you. Is that a compliment? It's an observation. I hung up and went back to work. We were designing the reinforcement for a 20-story residential tower. The concrete needed to withstand a 9.0 earthquake. The math was demanding. The math didn't care about my personal life. I liked that about math. September brought the thing I didn't expect. My firm won a regional engineering award. My bridge retrofit project. They asked me to present at the industry conference in San Francisco. 300 people in the audience. My name in the program. My face on the firm's website. The presentation video posted on LinkedIn afterward. I didn't think about it. It was just work. Dean's next email told me the rest. Dude, your sister saw your presentation video online. She sent it to your mom. Your mom watched it 11 times. I know because she called me crying, asking if I knew where you were. She said you looked healthy, happy. She said your dad watched it too and didn't speak for the rest of the evening. She said they're proud of you and it's killing them that they can't tell you. Also, Marcus saw it. He showed up at your parents' house drunk, ranting about how you always had to be the golden boy, how you got him out. Your mom didn't argue. Your dad kicked him out. Your mom didn't you. First time she's ever let anyone say anything negative about Marcus without defending him. I think that video broke something in her. She saw the life you built without them, and realized you're never coming back. I read that email twice. Not because it made me feel something. Because it confirmed the structural analysis I'd done a year ago. Remove the compromised element. Let the rest redistribute the load. The building either stabilizes or it doesn't. Their building was collapsing, mine was standing. Nadia was chopping vegetables when I came home that evening. She saw my face. News from back east? They saw the conference video. They know I'm doing well. How do you feel about that? I thought about it honestly. The way my therapist had taught me to check in instead of default to fine. I feel like the building passed inspection, I said. She pointed the knife at me. You know normal people use emotions words, right? Like relieved or satisfied. Relieved, I said. And satisfied. She smiled. There it is, October. My therapist and I moved to quarterly sessions. You've processed this in a remarkably healthy way, she said. The compartmentalization concerns me a little, but you're not repressing. You're choosing. There's a difference. I left her office and drove to a jewelry store on Hawthorne. Bought a ring that afternoon. Sapphire, not diamond. Nadia once said diamonds were a marketing scam, and she'd rather have something with actual geological interest. That's the kind of thing you remember when you're paying attention. Proposed on a hike up Angel's Rest, on a Sunday morning. November fog everywhere, the Columbia River below us, everything soft and gray. I want to build a life with you, I said. The real kind. The kind that doesn't collapse when you test it. She said yes. Then she said, that was such an engineer proposal. And she was laughing and crying at the same time. And I realized this was what it was supposed to feel like. Not the performance I'd done the first time. The church, the registry, my mother crying in the front row while Claire's family clapped politely. This was just two people on a mountain saying yes. You this. We called her family that night. Her parents in San Diego, her brother in Chicago. They were thrilled. Her mom asked, when, where, how big? Small, Nadia said, looking at me. Really small. After we hung up, she looked at me carefully. Do you want to tell your family? I don't have family to tell. I have you and yours now. She held my hand, didn't push. She never pushed. That's why it worked. December, Dean's final email. I'm stopping these updates. You never respond, and honestly I respect that now. But last one. Your parents sold the house. Downsized to a condo. Your mom's on antidepressants. Your dad retired early, health reasons. Your sister moved to Asheville. She's the only one who seems to be doing okay. Claire married some guy she met at a parenting group. Quiet ceremony, your parents went. They said it felt wrong. Marcus is still a mess. DUI last month. Lost his license. The baby's walking now. He looks like Marcus. Claire gave him Marcus's last name on the birth certificate. I think she knows there's no version of reality where you come back and play dad to that kid. People at our old college ask about you sometimes. I tell them you moved out west and you're doing great. They nod. They get it. Everyone gets it except the people who did it to you. Take care of yourself, man. You deserve the life you built. I closed the email. Nadia was reading on the couch. I sat next to her. You okay? She asked. Yeah, just closing a chapter. Your old life? The only kind of old I have. She set her book down. You really don't feel anything for them? Not even your mom? I thought about my mother. The woman who taught me to ride a bike. Who came to every school play. Who made my favorite soup when I was sick. Who found out my wife was sleeping with my best friend. And decided the best course of action was a meeting I wasn't invited to, where they'd figure out how to manage me. I feel clarity, I said. She had a choice. She chose them. Nadia kissed my forehead. Went back to her book. The wedding was in April. 2 years and 1 month since I walked out of that house in Charlotte. 40 guests. Nadia's family. My co-workers. Friends from Portland. Everyone there chose to be there. No obligation seats. No empty chairs needing explanation. We got married at a vineyard in the Willamette Valley. Nadia wore a dress that made her look like she belonged in a tide pool painting. Her words, not mine. I wore a suit that actually fit. Her father walked her down the aisle. Her mother cried. Her brother filmed everything on his phone, badly. During the ceremony, I looked at the front row. Nadia's parents, beaming. Her brother making faces to try to make us laugh. Jensen and his wife. My project manager. Who I'd never seen in anything but a hard hat. This was what family looked like. People who show up because they want to, not because they're managing a crisis. That night at the reception, Nadia's mother pulled me aside. I know about your family situation, she said. Nadia told me. I just want you to know, you're ours now. Completely. Whatever you need, whenever you need it. I didn't trust my voice, so I just nodded. She patted my cheek. Now go dance with my daughter before her brother hogs the dance floor. Honeymoon in Kauai. 2 weeks of ocean and silence, and the kind of sunsets that make you understand why people believe in God. One night, lying on the beach, Nadia said something I still think about. You know what's incredible about you? My seismic load calculations? She shoved me. No. You took the worst thing that could happen, and you turned it into a blueprint. You built something better. Most people just sit in the rubble and cry. I stared at the stars. Most people go back to the building that collapsed. Why didn't you? Because I'm an engineer. I know what a condemned structure looks like. You don't rebuild on a failed foundation. You start on new ground. She was quiet for a while, then, promise me something, anything. If I ever hurt you, not like they did, but even a little, tell me. Don't disappear. Talk to me. I'm not them. I rolled over to face her. I know you're not. That's why I'm here. She kissed me. We fell asleep on the beach. Woke up sunburned and sandy and happy. Back in Portland, life settled into something steady. Nadia's research was going well. My team at the firm was growing. We bought a house. A craftsman in southeast Portland with a porch and a yard, and the kind of structural bones that made me smile. 6 months after the wedding, Nadia told me she was pregnant. We were sitting on that porch, drinking decaf, because she'd already suspected. I looked at her, at the house we owned, at the life we'd built from nothing. We're going to be great at this, I said. I know, she said. Because you actually want to be here. That hit different than she probably intended. We called her family. Her mother cried. Her father started making lists of things babies need. Her brother sent a onesie that said future marine biologist within 24 hours. No one asked about my family. They'd learned not to. I appreciated that. My therapist, during our last session before I graduated from therapy entirely, said something I carry with me. People think revenge requires action. Confrontation. Making sure the other person knows they lost. But you did something harder. You just lived well and you did it quietly. That takes a strength most people don't have. Or stubbornness, I said. Strength, she repeated. I drove home thinking about that. About how I'd been called cold by people who'd never had to choose between warmth and survival. How my mother's idea of family was a building with no load-bearing walls. All facade, no structure. How Marcus thought friendship meant borrowing $40,000 and sleeping with your friend's wife. I wasn't cold. I was engineered. I identified the failure points, calculated the losses, and built something that would actually stand. That night I sat in my study writing in the journal I'd kept since therapy. Old habit, good habit. People think walking away is the easy choice. It's not. Every holiday, every birthday, every quiet Sunday morning, some part of your brain tries to remind you what you lost. But then you look at what you built. The career, the marriage, the home, the life. And you realize you didn't lose anything. You removed the parts that were going to bring the whole thing down. They wanted forgiveness. Not because they were sorry, but because my forgiveness was the only thing that could make them feel like what they did was survivable. Without it, they had to sit with the full weight of what they chose. Every day, for the rest of their lives. I didn't owe them that relief. I closed the journal, went downstairs. Nadia was on the couch, hand on her belly, reading a book about ocean ecosystems to the baby because she said it was never too early to start. You okay? She asked. Yeah, really okay. Come feel this. He's kicking. I put my hand on her stomach, felt the tiny thump against my palm. Our kid, already making his presence known. Already real. Outside, Portland was doing its evening thing. Rain starting up again. Streetlights coming on. People heading home to lives they'd built, lives they'd chosen, lives they were brave enough to protect. 3,000 miles east. In a condo that was too small and too quiet, a woman picked up her phone. She scrolled to a contact she'd never deleted. The old number. The one that hadn't worked in over 2 years. She pressed call anyway, the way you press an elevator button that's already lit. Habit. Hope. Some broken ritual she couldn't stop performing. The number you have reached is no longer in service. She hung up. Set the phone on the counter. In the other room, her husband was watching the news with the volume too loud. Because his hearing wasn't what it used to be. The guest room upstairs was empty now. Claire had moved out months ago. The house was quiet in the wrong way. The kind of quiet that used to be full. She opened her laptop, pulled up her son's firm website, stared at his photo on the team page, professional headshot, Clean suit, confident expression. Senior project engineer. She'd memorized every word of his bio. Read it every night like a prayer to a god who'd stopped answering. She whispered his name to the empty kitchen. Back in Portland, I didn't hear her. I was on the couch with my wife, feeling our baby kick, talking about what color to paint the nursery, thinking about tomorrow's project meeting, about the structural review next week, about whether we should get a dog before or after the baby came. Not about them. Never about them. I didn't win by making them suffer. They did that to themselves. I won by building something that could actually hold weight, a life with real walls, real foundations, real people. And then I lived in it. Peacefully, completely, without apology. And I never looked back. Not because I was cold. Because there was nothing back there worth turning around for.